And Music Week continues. I had no idea that we would get two back-to-back musicians on the Snack and Learn, and I'm thrilled to bring yet another musician to you guys today. So I am here with Amber Griffiths, and I'm going to do a formal introduction and all that. But first of all, hi and welcome, Amber.
Hello there. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you joined us. I want to give you guys Amber's background because, I mean, you know, I'm a sucker for musicians. We had Marin on yesterday. We have Amber on today. She is a maker of legends. She's a brand strategist of a company called Brand by Design. And she's also, just by the way, a best-selling author, international speaker, and a sought-after strategist to A-list and soon to be A-list players. So she's a bona fide rock star, completely dedicated to helping entrepreneurs develop a brand that gets us from that unknown and forgettable space to establish them as a legend. So she works with any individual who's committed to creating those real, genuine connections with their clients, their ideal clients, and really want to make it an unforgettable experience. And I actually have a sample story to tell you guys of something, Amber, that I mentioned to you when we first got on today. The people that she works with really understand that it's by building the high impact connections that in a consistent brand aligned way that really is going to not just increase their profits, but also really dramatically affect the lives they're trying to affect, their employees themselves, their families, their clients. So she works with people who really see the importance of being intentional with their marketing and with a very specific attention to that brand presence and making sure that they're really committed to a vision that matters so that it can all align. So, Amber, I am so thrilled to have you here because everything in what I read about you just resonates with me. It's all about the connections we make.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Otherwise, I look at it and go, what's the point? If we're not building relationships and making true connections with from human to human, why bother?
So
Life's too short to not do that.
And it's also been totally possible in COVID times. Like people, I
Yeah.
think, really thought that, oh my gosh, with COVID, we're going to lose all this connection. And I thought that at first too, because like you, I'm a stage speaker, but this
Yeah.
has almost been better because it creates a more intimate experience. And I've
Yeah.
made real, genuine friends during this time period when I wouldn't probably have otherwise been able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And I think because we've all been like everybody who was online a little bit, suddenly that was the only option. So, I mean, I've met people from around the world that honestly, I probably would have met them eventually, but it may take another 5 years
Yep.
just on that normal progression. But
Yep.
everything got squished into here we are showing up intensity. And it's the people I've met this last year have been amazing, and they are not from Utah. I mean, people in Utah are great, but I mean, the people I never would have met just by going to my regular local networking events,
Yep.
different summits, never would have met these amazing people. I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, it kind of compressed and forced the world to say we need to connect better in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
been better connections. I love it. So long before COVID, you were focused on legend brand making. So tell me
Mhm.
why legend? Where did that come from?
Legend is it's relatively new in my space. I mean, it's been a couple of years now. It really does come from because of those deep connections, watching people and working with people who are not just let me increase sales, let me increase my reach, which are both very vital parts of business, but realizing so many people out there have a message that is, and they are determined to get that out to the world. They will do everything in their power to make sure that message gets into the heart and souls of the people around the world. That's not just regular business. That's not celebrity. That's not icon. That is legend. And that, especially with my music background, that's the word that kept coming to my mind going, this is a different
I love
level. This is a completely elevated space to work in and create community in. And it's just so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, when you get that kind of commitment from your clients to what they're doing and how they're affecting the world, by default, it's going to be fun to help them create that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
legacy, the other word that comes to mind is legacy as well. You're helping them create
Yep.
a real legacy instead of just a business, so to
Right.
speak. And there's a real
Right.
niche for that, I think, now. Um,
Very much so.
we're gone, thankfully, are the days of let's, profit at all costs. One of the things I
Right.
remember, I worked in corporate for a long time, and it was quarter over quarter, profit, profit, profit,
Yep.
profit,
Yep.
profit. And
Drive the numbers.
I remember, and I was a CFO, for God's sake. So I mean, it was my
Yeah.
job. And I remember thinking there is a better way to do this. And sure enough, since I've been able to now operate in a totally different world, there is a better way to do this. And not only is it more profitable, but it's more profitable for more people. It's just a whole different mindset around it's
Absolutely.
expansion instead of get my slice and get it now. Um,
Absolutely.
and it's just
That's
the
so
the
to
dogs
me.
are
That
barking at me, just as a heads up because the dog
okay.
walker just got here. But
That's
go ahead.
okay. Mine are in the other room. I
You
was gonna say
talk.
the way
I'm
you
going to
spoke.
mute.
There we go. The way you spoke about being in corporate and saying there's got to be more. It's part of what led me to jump from being in corporate. I was VP of marketing. It's a really lovely title that meant so little, really, when I look back at it. But there was this voice going, "There's more. You are meant for more. You get to create more. You get to impact more, more and more. There's got to be something bigger, better, more amazing." And when I left, it's almost been 15 years ago. Like next week is 15 years.
Wow.
I've never looked back. I mean, the people were amazing, still in contact with many of them. But as far as my capacity in VP of marketing, helping people with their brand, but not really being able to impact it,
Hmm.
it's a completely different show. And it's not just realtors. Now it's like people across the world. It's coaches, it's authors, it's
Yep.
electricians, it's accountants, it's everybody.
I love that.
So
And that's kind of the same thing. Like I don't regret one day I spent in corporate. I really
no,
don't. But I didn't I knew something was missing and something was wrong. And this
yeah.
is where, I think that's why when we sought you out to join the Profit Concierge Group, and I'm so grateful you did. Thank you. There's
Not
my
happy.
little guy piping in. The other dog went for the walk first, which is never good.
Oh,
Um, but that's why we sought you out, because I saw this kind of unique approach to things. And like, folks, it's funny. I was looking at Amber's page today before we talked, and I saw something that really caught my eye. And somebody had basically posted a thank you to Amber for sending a card. But this wasn't just a card. There was thought put in. I could tell. I didn't know anything about it, but there was thought put into the development of whatever this was, and a handwritten note on it. And, you know, those are the things that make the real difference, because you can send me swag boxes with pre-printed stuff and it's great and I use it. But that's the thing I'm going to put on my shelf and keep forever, because it's just it's that you're my client or whatever. I don't even know if it was a client or a friend
yeah.
or what, but it was just really a beautiful piece of art, and I just love that.
I'm so glad you like it. I was really happy with those. It took some time to get because they're a little outside of what is normal. I mean, it's made of wood, but to find
Oh,
somebody
so
who could do
cool.
that, and they're really, and it's one of those too, like I get to support this home run business. It's not in their basement or something, but it's like this family is running this business and
Wow,
they're
that's so
serving
cool.
global clients. But I'm like, oh my goodness, could you create something like this? And they're like, oh yeah, we
Oh,
got you. And
love
it turned out so much better than I ever could have dreamed. So
that.
I'm glad it spoke to you.
It really, really did. And that's kind of been another fun thing with COVID, is we've been able to find these artisans who before this
Yes.
were kind of hidden. Like I did a video at one point, and I had seen this woman during a presentation doing wall art that was telling the same story that the presenter was telling in wall art. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh my
wow.
God, I've got to talk to her. And her name's Hannah Sanford. I actually did a Facebook Live with her here after actually doing it, because I hired her to do the wall art for my presentation. And it was so cool to
Wow.
see it come to life. And it's actually the cover photo now in the Facebook group. And,
That's
this is
amazing.
somebody who found a way to be valuable to entrepreneurs using
Yeah.
their art. And when you don't just work with artists and musicians, right? You work with,
No, no, no.
yeah, I mean, the
Mostly
qualifications
entrepreneurs.
were there. Heartfelt, I hate that the term heart centered is so overused, but, truly committed, visionary, change the world.
Real people. Real people that are open to change, that are open to doing something new. It really is one of those hallmarks of legend is you're willing to try something knowing you could fail. It could be really like it could not work. But that's being willing to try it, being willing to lean in and say, okay, this sounds like it's a good idea.
Yep.
Here we go. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's do this together. Hallmark of a legend, honestly.
Love
You're
that.
going to stay in your bubble where it's safe. You might be really successful, but you'll never be legend.
That's just perfect. It's so funny because I talked to a couple people that we were bringing in to do some marketing work, and I said, look, guys, you need to know I don't have an expectation that this is going to be a blown out of the water. I have full confidence in you, and we may blow it out of the water, and that would be awesome. But if this fails miserably, it's still a success because we're going to figure
Absolutely.
out what it was. We're going to change it. We're going to fix it. And
Love
that
it.
attitude just kind of helps people relax. It's not like they feel like they've got to hit a home run. Nobody hits a home run every time.
No,
Baby didn't hit a
it's
home
not a
run
thing.
every time. Yeah.
No. You see these people that are supposedly these, overnight successes is the phrase they use. I'm like,
Yeah.
you just haven't seen the last 10 years of the fail and the trials and the midnights and the 2 o'clock in the morning when they're screaming and throwing stuff around the room. You haven't seen that.
Because
You
it
just
happens.
became aware of them.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, this is not overnight anything. Give them
Yeah.
more credit than that.
There might be one out of a million that's truly an overnight success or got lucky.
Yeah.
But it's sweat, blood, tears, work. The cool thing is, I don't know, it seems to me you're the same kind of person I am about that. Even the failing is fun. I mean, it's hard, but it's, wow, I just stretched a new muscle today that I didn't even know I had.
Yeah. With something like that, I think it's totally mindset. It's rarely our skill set that holds us back. It's that mindset of that's too scary, that's too big, that might not work. But when you try something and it's hard because, like you said, like there's that, wow, I put this out there and nobody showed up.
Yep.
Dang it. Like, but then you go, okay, awesome. But this is the part that worked and this is the part that didn't.
Yes.
And it's part of why when I work with people, I tell them like, we need to celebrate the process. It
I
is not
love
about the result. It is about every step of the way. What's working, what's enjoyable, what are you learning? If you can look at something differently, like if I can help you create something so that you think of your business differently, if you view your brand differently, that's a success in my book. That's huge because you can never undo that. You can never take back the way to think about something a little bit differently. And that's what that trial and error and fail and success is all about. It's just, turn your head a little bit to the left and go, let's look at it this way.
I really like that. So when you work with a client, like what does it look like? So they come in and because you clearly focus on something broader than just like creating a logo and a quick brand. You're taking that persona and you're getting to know it and helping to evolve it. How does that work?
Absolutely. Oh, what a fabulous question. Thank you, Pam. Like, dang. Oh, this is so good.
Awesome.
No, this is really what I work with this goes beyond logo font colors. This goes beyond, this is my offer. It really is about developing a brand that delivers a consistent, amazing experience for your ideal client. It's what branding's all about. It's not just, this is me, this is my message, this is my offers. It's how are my clients experiencing me? Because that's what they share, right? Like, I know you've probably said it. I know people have said it about you I'm not even sure what it is, but you need to be in her space. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know how she's going to help you, but you need to know her. That's the experience. That's that brand showing up, that persona coming through saying, whatever it is you're going to do with her is going to be amazing. If it's lunch, if it's $1 million project, it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be so fun and so exciting for you. So usually if they come to me, we start with, let's make sure you've claimed your space. Let's make sure that this is your unique, not by necessarily demographic or psychographic, but even diving deeper into the legend graphics of who you're serving.
Oh, wow.
And then we can start worrying about your persona and how it's expression of your values and your vocabulary, your mannerisms, as I'm sitting here talking with my hands, your visuals, all those things come in to create, it's an expression of who you really are and how you serve the world and how you create that experience for your clients.
Wow.
It's so fun. It is so
that takes me a whole level beyond kind of how I've ever thought about brand. And yet it feels very connected when you say it, because like one of the things I've always said is I can't really explain what I do with my clients, but if it's the right client, they'll basically say, oh my God, I felt fantastic about this and my world has changed.
Yep.
What is that? I don't know, but now you've given me a word for it. It's brand. That is so
It's your
cool
brand.
to think about it that way.
Yeah.
Wow, now
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's
have
your
to,
brand.
like, go meditate after we're done just to let that work on my
Oh, I
head.
love it.
That is
That's
so
awesome.
cool. So, when you were in corporate, you were a VP of marketing,
Yeah.
and that's a very different job than what you've grown to be here. So my curiosity is, how did you how hard was the transition for you to say and to stand in your own stuff and say, you know what, this is what I do. I do it better than anybody else. Nobody else does this the way I do it or even understands it. One of the things I think everybody in this group wrestles with is that, am I just another one of something else, or do I really have this special thing? How did you navigate that? I had a confidence failure. I know that. How did you
Yep.
navigate
We
that?
all
Did it
do.
happen?
We all do.
I
I think
thought
that's one of those
so.
big things everybody gets to just understand is, oh my gosh, we're in this great big selective group called human. And sometimes we get our not enough stuff all over the place. And
Yes.
we're like, and sometimes it comes from, I really, really like this. And if people knew how much I loved it, they wouldn't pay me to do it.
Oh, you
Like
know
there's that,
that's real.
there's
That's
some of that going,
real.
I would do this for free. How can I bill for this? How do I charge for this?
Yep.
So there's some of that for sure. And entrepreneurs are notorious for it because we usually leave whatever or start this new thing because we're passionate about it,
Yep.
which means we would do it in our sleep. We would do it for free. We would do it on a boat with a goat, like all those things.
And it's
How do we?
not hard, that part of
It's
it.
not hard,
Mhm.
right? It's like, I've talked to so many people. Well, that was nothing. Like, yeah, except that you should be saying you're welcome for that because that was a hell of a thing. And most people can't do that. Like what is so second nature to you, most people cannot do. It's part of why it's brilliant. It's part of why the genius is. My journey, I spent 3 years in corporate going, do I dare? I need to go. I need to go. I need to go do something else.
3
And
years you did that?
finally, 3 years,
Oh
I
my god.
wrestled with
Maybe it was 6
could I do
months.
it? Do you think I could, you know, from the time it was like, this is the first idea, this could be possible to, oh my goodness, I just need to go. Like, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, this has served me well. I need to be done. I need to find a new fabulous five. I need to find a new group. And I realize I have an issue with authority. So I think I was always meant to be an entrepreneur.
Oh my god. I think I do too. Now that you've said that, I think I do too.
Oh, totally unemployable at this point. Like it was hard before, but 15 years later, I'm like,
Couldn't
I'm
do
my
it.
own person. I decide when. And part of it too is when you first jump, I think again, that perfection thing comes up and that not enough stuff comes up and the imposter syndrome comes up. So it took some time. When I first left, when I said I'm a brand strategist or I'm a brand expert, even the title has evolved. I actually had a surgeon ask me once, he's like, so branding, like tattoos and stuff?
Oh
And I
my
thought,
god.
please don't operate on me. Like you are officially not allowed anywhere near me.
Utah ranches branding. Ah.
Yes, yeah. But it's so hard for people to understand what brand is because it's one of those words we know, but kind of don't
Mhm.
know. But we don't really want to ask about it because everybody should know. So
I
I
know
would say
I
I'm a
had a
graphic
very
designer.
simplified understanding of it before this conversation.
It's just different. And because it's so big and it encompasses so many things,
Mhm.
then it's hard. So I would tell people I'm a graphic designer because especially here in Utah, everybody knows what a graphic designer is. Like
Got it.
but then I realized this is a scrapbooking mecca and scrapbookers often call themselves graphic designers. And
Ah,
that's true if they've had education, if they have degrees, if they have experience, or if they do it an hour on the weekend after their kids are gone to bed.
they're
The
graphic.
title is the same. The
Okay.
title's the same. So there was part of that I had to get, put on the big shoes and say, okay, what are you actually? Because you cannot serve the people you're meant to serve by calling yourself a graphic designer. You
Wow.
cannot serve the people you are uniquely qualified to serve if you play this small, this quiet. And so many of us have that background of somewhere in our, whether it's when we were kids or teenagers, whenever it was, we were told to shh, let somebody else talk. It's not your turn. Wait your turn. Be quiet.
Mhm.
Sit down and be quiet. This mount, yeah, been told that a lot. And so I realized realized that's what I was doing to myself. I was still
Okay.
playing muted. I was still playing
Huh.
like, this is safe. I can never do what I'm meant to do, but this is safe. And I
Yeah.
thought, okay, you know what? The hard part's in the jumping. You know your stuff. You know it's going to be brilliant and amazing and fabulous and rewarding. So you just got to jump and just got to do it.
I
And so
love.
it's become very much my life purpose of your voice will be heard. It's amazing and it's the only one of its kind. How can you not share it? How do like and sometimes it's confidence, sometimes it's just the knowing the words to put to it. And but that is my goal is everybody's voice gets to be heard. There's no muting. Everything gets to be cranked to 11.
I hope every single person on this really heard those words. And I'm just telling you, please index it right here because that was beautiful. And if that's the treatment your clients get, God bless you. And my question is, did you self-coach yourself through that? Did you have a coach? Did you like, how did you get
Oh
there?
no.
You truly
Um,
evolved.
yeah, it's been an evolution for sure. Um, I've had mentors, I've had coaches. Some are great, some are not so great. Some are like,
Mhm.
here's this box, climb on in. We're going to fold in the corners of your uniqueness and hope it fits. Good luck with that. And
Okay.
I've had the luxury of having a couple that are absolutely spectacular and amazing.
Awesome.
Um, I spoke to one about 8 years ago, and I was just in the dumps. I was like, how is this not working? How am I not happy? I think I'm doing the things, but it was still so muted.
Mhm.
And she asked me, she's like, tell me about this person that you would be. If nothing else, if you could be anybody you wanted to be, what would you be? What would you be doing? What would you wear? How would you be working with people? What does all that look like? And I went from like unstoppable tears in sitting in a coffee
Oh,
shop,
yeah.
getting really excited about it. And I'm like, oh, and then we could do this, and then there was this, and then this, and then this. And she leaned in, she goes, she's you, you know.
Wow.
And I just got chills again. I'm like, oh,
I am that.
really? You know? I'm
That is
like,
a good coach.
yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
I
Is
think
that the
I
turning
think
point?
you, that was the big one. That was
Wow.
the big one. There have been several up to that, but that was the huge. I get to move out of what is safe. I get to let go of what has served me before and no longer serves me. I get to move on and be bigger and make the impact, reach the people, and frankly, make the money
I
that I
love it.
get to. That one, that one I will keep with me forever. Like she
That's
was
amazing, and it's probably a gift you just keep regifting to every client. I know you just
I
regifted
sure
it to
hope so.
everybody in this group because
I hope.
that's moving. That's just moving. What an incredible story and what a credible way to ask the question. And obviously, she made you feel comfortable enough to truly trust her
Yeah,
to step into that person for at least, even if it was just for a minute, then and go
yeah,
and get that excited about something.
yeah. It
Wow,
was it was amazing.
and
So
you
yes,
said
find
something.
someone who can do that for you. Find someone who
Yeah,
can do that for you.
there's a couple of them in this
Multiple
coffee
someone.
concierge group. So if you're stuck, tell us you're stuck in this group. There are
Oh
people
yeah.
who are willing to help. And I mean, Amber's story, your story alone, just if people will listen to this, will make such a difference because I wish there were like a course we could just give people that truly was a good course that says you are going to hit these things: imposter syndrome, not enough, confidence failure, marketing failure, boom, boom, and
Yeah.
consider it a mark of pride. Every one of those you check off
Yeah. Yep.
because you are forging a unique path. You're not doing something
Oh,
anybody else has done.
yeah,
This
not at
has really
all.
fired me up because one of the things that, I'll have people tell me occasionally, hey, we don't, why are you doing this community Facebook Live thing? What's your end game? What are you doing? And it's a passion for me to build this community. Sure, some of these folks might turn into clients down the road, and that would be awesome, but it's not the point. And
Right.
I've just stuck to it and recognized that it's just, and I remember I started to cave. I'm like, oh, maybe I should stop all this. And then I said, you know what? No, nobody else is doing this. It's my path, and I really like it. And you've just kind of given me a real, I don't know, a real shot in the arm to keep at it. So
Well,
that's
good.
amazing.
I have to share. I talked about you on one of my Facebook lives recently
Oh
because
my
it was
gosh.
after I came to your campfire, and I was like, "This is amazing. This was incredible." And we talked about that client experience. It started with I logged in and there's a freaking campfire, complete with the acoustics. raging, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pull up a chair and a marshmallow and make myself to home here. That like this, it
Good. It
was
did what I
so
wanted it
unique,
to do.
so unique, so amazing. So I'm like, wow, this is how she's. This is the casual stuff. This is the
Mhm.
freebie thing she's putting out there. Can you imagine how she creates an experience for her clients that is this unique and this intense? It was amazing. So
Yeah.
I totally use you as an example. I'm like, okay, go look this woman up and go be a part of her campfire because holy crap.
Oh, you have totally put a shot in my arm on that because yeah, that's thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank
And
you.
it's funny because the other thing that you said that I think everybody runs into that I think is kind of neat here is you said, we don't just say you're welcome. You're welcome. Like that's something, and maybe I don't know if it's just female entrepreneurs. I think male entrepreneurs have a problem too. Like when somebody goes, hey, you did a fantastic job at that. Our natural tendency is to go, oh, well, that was my team, and that was this, and that was the other thing, and oh my
No big
gosh, my
deal.
hair was a mess, and blah blah blah. And like
Yeah.
you really challenged me to just kind of at some point just say, wow, you're welcome. And even
It
just saying
changes.
it now, it's like, ah,
It will change everything. It will change everything. I have stood on stage and had a moment and I've witnessed it where people are like, somebody says, well, thank you. Oh, thank you. Well, that's great. And I'm all about gratitude. But damn, dude, you're welcome. Like I showed up and gave you everything I had. And I know it's going to change the way you think about your life. You're welcome. It's not cocky, it's kind.
I love that. I am actually going to give myself this challenge this week that at least once
Good.
when
Good.
somebody gives a compliment, I'm going to say, you're welcome. And it's funny because even just saying that, my palms are sweaty.
It does not come naturally to us.
Yeah.
But it changes the whole nature. I mean, it's part of that, devaluing everything we do,
Yep.
which allows everybody else to too. So if we say you're welcome, it's a gift. We
It's
gave you
more
something
standing in
amazing.
your space. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I'm guessing
Absolutely.
that
Plant your flag, baby.
yeah, any client that works with you gets a lot more than brand advice, is
I
my
hope
guess.
so.
That's awesome. So when when is it exactly the right time for somebody to say, wow, I need to work with her? Where are they in their either business timeline or some other triggers and stuff? What is it that makes like the ideal person for you?
Hmm. I would say now and today. It's very much that when's the best time to plant a tree? 10 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. If if your business is not as successful as it could be, should be, you want it to be. If you have a tendency to attract the people that are not your people, I call them 20 bucks the hard way clients. Um,
That's
because it
great.
doesn't matter what the price tag is, it's 20 bucks the hard way. Um, if if what you're doing is you're finding that you are forgettable, if you're showing up at places and people don't remember you, your
Okay.
persona is not showing up. You will never be able to stand out. The answer is not to post more. It's to get loud with purpose.
Wow.
So
Oh,
if you're finding yourself like blending in, if people aren't remembering which one you are, if you can talk to 25 people and nobody can pick you out of a crowd, and please know that that's not a memory issue for them. This is a persona issue for you. And it's totally fixable. It's
wow.
totally easy to do that. If you want to come and join the League of Legends, it's a group coaching, but it really isn't. It's a community, and I'm incredibly protective of it because I really, really love these women. There happen to be only women in there right now, and it's a beautiful community.
Is that called the
Because I'm a firm
Welcome to
believer.
Legend? Is that the Welcome to Legend
The
group?
welcome, that's the League of Legends. The
Ah, okay.
the welcome to Legends is a free Facebook community by invitation only. So the invitation is going out to Pam, you and your community, this community, our community, because I'm a part of it.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
please come play. Please come play. I'm protective of them. They're my people. I tell
I
them, I'm
get
like,
it.
once you're
I
mine,
get
you're
it
mine.
completely.
So
Like, this is my group. Do not mess with it.
yes. I'm like,
That's
Mama Bear's got
great.
nothing on this. Like these are my legends, and I will kick your butt.
I love it. And I will, folks, I'll drop the link to that group. That is so generous of you. I'll drop the link to
It's
that group
amazing.
in the comments
Thank
on
you.
all the places that this is going, because that's amazing. But what was the other one you were talking about? So,
Oh,
League.
so the League of Legends. The League of Legends. It's a it comes in waves of 3 months, so it's 90 days.
Uh-huh.
It's group coaching in a small community, once a month training, then 2 other times a month we do what I call pop-up workshops, which I do a little bit of
Cool.
training, but it really is what are you working on? What's kicking your butt this week? What opportunities do you have this week? What are your challenges? Let's work through them. So you're not just learning from me, you're learning from this community. It's like this market research,
I
but
love it.
I'm such a huge believer that, they say you don't have to do this alone. I don't think you can.
I
Like,
agree.
not and really reach your full business potential. You can't do it by yourself.
I
Not time,
agree.
not energy, not skill set, not like it. You can't. So that's why I love the community aspect of everything that I do.
Yep.
So
That's just perfect. And
yeah.
the one thing I would ask, if you want to feel absolutely free when that next 90 days comes up, to come into Profit Concierge Group, and let's drop a link to it for people in case they're
Oh, I'd
interested
love
in joining
to.
you.
Thank
And
you.
in addition to that, we can do a takeover. You can take over the group for a day and just talk about it a little bit, so
Oh, that'd
folks
be
get a
lovely.
better feel for it, because this sounds like I want to come now. I
Hey,
want to know.
awesome. We
'Cause
just started yesterday, so come on in.
that's awesome. Well, what I'm sure is must be really cool for anybody that works for you, because like you just in like 10 seconds captured everything about what I'm trying to portray. And that's totally validating. So as you coach people through building that persona, there's so many entrepreneurs in each of our spaces. Like there are a million CFOs, there are a million bookkeepers, there are a million health coaches, but there's only one you, and you got to bring you to stand out. And that's the reason that I'm really glad we're doing that. And I hope people are listening, and I hope they drop questions in here, because I know that Amber will be glad to answer them. If they
Of
happen to be
course.
on my feed, I'll tag her so she can. But we all have like that Get Loud with Purpose. That's beautiful. 1 minute of Get Loud with Purpose is going to be worth 100 years of
Yeah.
just blending in with the masses and doing
Yep.
more.
Yep. Yep.
God, that
Yep.
alone, what an amazing insight. So
Thank you.
my God, I could keep this conversation going forever. But you've been so generous with your time. If there was one thing other than the gold you've already dropped, that somebody could just do today or tomorrow to feel more into this persona that each one of us should have, what would you tell us to do? What would be your tip?
So here's one that people really like to do because it's super easy. You can go do it right now. So one of those things, it's one piece of what I call the Legend 9-point signature test. So that's a really fancy title for here's the 9 things you need to make sure you're doing to be firmly on the road to legend. Go through and look at your last email, your last post, your last blog, video, whatever it is, the last couple things you've done. Remove your name and your photo and see if it still sounds like you. See
Wow.
if people can still go, oh, yeah, I can hear her saying that. Oh, yeah, I totally hear her saying that. Without it, you come across as generic and transactional and forgettable.
That's brilliant. I'm going to
So put
recap
yourself
that.
back into it.
I'm going
Let
to
me know
recap
what you find.
because that's
Let me know
brilliant.
what you find
So
out.
yeah, I definitely will. So what I'm hearing, and I think everybody should do this exercise. So I hope we all do it, and kind of drop comments in here if you learn something, because so I'm going to go like back to my last email that I sent, even just to a client, and I'm going to pull off
Yeah,
any images, I'm going to pull off my name, I'm going to pull everything off, and see if there's something in there that is me, as opposed to just anybody could have sent this.
yeah.
That's
It's
brilliant.
part of what triggers us feeling like we're salesy. So I'm
Hmm.
like, well, you cut off circulation to your persona. So
Yeah.
it sounds salesy because it doesn't
If
sound
it's
like you at
you, it's not
all.
going to feel salesy,
Nope.
because that's brilliant. Oh my God, this has been so much fun. Thank you, thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
thank
Thank
you,
you for
Pam.
pitching the campfires for me. That's amazing. The more people we can get at campfires, the happier Pam is. Um,
You're welcome.
and anything, anything we can do for you in the group, anything I can do for you from far as questions go around finances or anything, feel free, drop those questions in the group, DM me, anything like that, Amber. We fully support your mission.
Appreciate it.
That's all I can
I
say.
love it.
And
Thank you.
thanks
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
your time today.
It's been a thrill. Thank you so much, Pam.
Awesome. Now you get to go play that guitar in the background.
Yay.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.